Good evening, everyone. My name is Tom Cruise, and it is my pleasure to say
Tom, the
this.
show's about to start. Come on!
Okay, on my way. Welcome to the Graham Norton Show.
To the show, and hello to our virtual studio audience. Hello, everybody. Hey, look at those smiley faces. I know why you're in such a good mood. Lockdown's starting to lift. Staycations begin from Monday. Woohoo! Yeah, we'll be able to enjoy a British beach holiday. Soak up those rays. It's almost too hot, isn't it? Almost too hot. Hey, it's the last show of the series, and we've got a good one for you. Shall we see who's on the show tonight? Yeah! Joining me right here, right now, is top comic John Bishop, ladies and gentlemen. Look, he's walking! He's walking! John Bishop, boom, boom, yeah, take yourself down. She's the Oscar-nominated star of The Theory of Everything. It's our own Felicity Jones. Yes, I wasn't lying. She's back there. Felicity Jones. Woo! She shimmers, she walks, she sits. Hello, Felicity Jones. Later, we'll have music live in the studio from Years and Years. We'll be joined down the line by rising star Wunmi Mosaku. And we'll be meeting two of the stars of the upcoming Top Gun Maverick, Miles Teller and Jennifer Connelly. But it's not Top Gun Maverick without Maverick himself. Please welcome to the stage the one and only Mr. Tom Cruise! Go! Woo! Hey! Oh my God, hello. Oh, have a seat. I know, yeah, come on.
Come on.
Yeah, come on. That's real applause. That's the crew. Tom, would you mind just saying hello down that camera to our virtual audience at home?
Yes.
So people are watching.
Hello, virtual audience.
Yeah, that's for you.
Hello,
Yeah. You chose to wear pajamas, and now Tom Cruise can see you. Yeah. So how does this happen? Have you been in London for all of lockdown, Tom?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're just looking for things to do.
Now, this is amazing. This is my first time out of the film bubble. We were talking about it. I mean, this is just incredible.
Oh, well, you're very welcome. And obviously,
you.
you've been in your film bubble, but have you had any of those lockdown lulls where you learned to bake banana bread or learned a language or something?
No.
No.
No, from the moment actually...
No interest in self-improvement? No.
Really, from the moment we were in lockdown, I was working 7 days a week, almost around the clock, because we were dealing with, we were finishing Top Gun, the edit, we were prepping Mission, and they shut us down. I didn't have the banana bread moment yet. Did you?
Nor me, no.
I tried to do banana bread
How'd it go?
3 times, burnt every time.
Really?
Yeah, beginning of
give it up.
lockdown.
Give it up.
It's done. It's done. I'm not going back to the banana
But
bread.
in fairness to Felicity, though, in terms of lockdown productions, like, you had a baby in that first lockdown.
Yeah, in the first one, which feels ages ago now. I know, in the really scary one.
What was that like? I mean,
well, everyone was... It was when we were all washing our groceries. We were all buying, your vegetables and your fruit.
There's no one there.
I'm looking at the empty audience.
She's an actress.
She's such
She
an actress.
Yeah.
And then I said, quite a thin house.
No, not many tickets sold. Not many tickets sold tonight.
I had friends that they were having babies. I mean, it was quite...
Yeah, it was pretty, I mean, it was just sort of... We just didn't know exactly what was going to happen, It was pretty intense.
Now, I think, in case this gets awkward later, I think I should bring this up now.
Yes.
That, John Bishop, you do have a connection to Tom Cruise.
Yes,
you do?
Yes, yeah, we do have a connection because we were both... I was on Top Gear shortly after Tom was on Top Gear.
This is the star in a reasonably priced car.
The star in the reasonably priced car.
And you did very well, Tom.
I did all right.
Yeah, you're top of the leaderboard. How did you do, John?
Yeah.
Here's the leaderboard. John Bishop, beat you. 2 seconds.
What happened? What happened?
Well done.
Yeah, I changed.
Well done.
And
Through gritted teeth.
see that? Well done.
I left a bubble for this.
For this to get abused?
Because what happened? There was me, there was Tom Cruise, there was Cameron Diaz, and then Rupert Grint was fourth, wasn't he?
Rupert Grint.
Yes, so a wizard. I even beat a wizard.
You beat a wizard. Not only that, you didn't just beat us, you crushed us. That's 142.8. That's a good full second and a half almost.
I know, and the
That's
thing is,
great.
like, you can drive cars and you're interested. I've got zero interest in cars. I literally...
You know what? You chose the wrong profession. Sorry.
And tell me about it. I came away from that thing and I should be an F1 because all it was to me, though, was somebody give me a car and said, it doesn't matter if you crash it. And I thought, this is great. This is like being 17 again on my dad's insurance.
Very good.
I don't know, man.
But only turbo.
You
crushed
just go round a track. Is that right?
Don't
Just
belittle it.
No,
Don't make it sound stupid and
Hold it,
pointless.
hold it. Yes, please. This is very serious. It's actually not just going like there's turns. Like you got to make right turns and left turns.
Oh, it sounds really hard.
and-
Yeah. Tom Cruise, you're here tonight to tell us about Top Gun Maverick.
Yes.
And this is exciting because it's over 30 years. It's a long time.
35 years.
35 years. It's a long time
35
coming.
years.
How did it happen now? When did the stars align?
You
How
know,
did-
for years, the studios wanted me to do it, and audiences have wanted me to do it. I've gone around the world, and there was just a moment where, you know, Jerry Bruckheimer wanted to do it, and he came to me, we were talking about it, and we just came up with some good ideas, and it was just that moment. I thought, if I'm going to ever do this, now's the time.
And I've been lucky enough to see it. Thank you very much for organising that. And it is, we saw it on the IMAX. It is incredible. It's like you're in the planes. It's amazing. But equally, it's all new and, you know, all bells and whistles. But there are lots of references to the old, like, you know, the diehard fans will love it.
Little seeds there, little things. New, but, yeah, some Easter eggs.
And you've brought us some footage because this is, you know, there's no green... I'm right, there's no green screen, is there, in this thing?
No, you know what, it was, I mean, the first time that I did it, one of the reasons, you know, I've loved aviation my whole life. And I was like, I want to make this, but I want to be able to film in the F-14. So with this one, technology, we can really do a lot of flying now in it. And so I had to create a whole training program for the pilots. We had to develop the cameras to be able to fly in the F-18s. I went and talked to the Defense Department and the head of the Navy, and they gave us permission to fly in the aircraft. It's very, very interesting because I not only had to kind of create a program for the actors to understand and become pilots, but also had to teach them about editing and lighting, and the fighter pilots to teach them about filming. It was just like creating these cameras, creating, you know, and really put the audience in a position where they feel like they're the fighter pilots, and, you know.
And you really do. And you talk about that stuff, all that stuff you're doing at speed. This is some footage you brought of kind of the behind...
Because I fly airplanes and helicopters and stuff like that.
Yeah, this is some of the behind-the-scenes stuff of these. These are the F-18s, I think.
This is F-18s, let's see.
We are cleared into the area. Verify cameras are on. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Here comes some G's.
Let me tell you.
Yeah. I love that guy on his phone just going, what?
I definitely won't be flying planes better than you.
We saw Miles Teller there, who we were talking to him and Jennifer Connelly about Top Gun Maverick later in the show. And to go back to the first Top Gun, I mean, was that very unusual, that idea of an actor actually flying the plane themselves? And that footage had to be in the film, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I was like, I want it to be in the movie. They were, you know, luckily, the studio, they wanted me to do it so badly that I was allowed to do that. And Simpson Bruckheimer were great. You know, I learned a lot from them, and Tony.
And was that the first time you sort of done that on camera?
Yeah, when I did the F-14, I didn't want the actors to go through what I went through because I trained with the Blue Angels. I flew with the Blue Angels, and you had to do training to learn how to eject out of the aircraft. But I didn't know about Gs. You know, I read about it. There wasn't YouTube back then, you know, and so they took us up and we started filming, and we were hitting some heavy Gs. And let me tell you, it was.
Gs, that's the kind of the pressure of as you were going
Gs,
very
like
high.
right now, you know, we're 1 G. It's our body weight. 2 Gs is twice our body weight. And in Top Gun, I was pulling 9.5 Gs at one point, so it's 9.5 times my own body weight when we were doing Top Gun, and it was not comfortable.
But that 9.5 Gs, and he's piloting it, so he's thinking about stuff. Because I did one thing once where I went to the European Space Station to do a feature for a television show, and they put me in the spinner.
Yes.
And I got up to 5,
Yes.
and I was literally crying for me mum. I was like, this is the worst thing, because your body just collapses in, doesn't it?
You have to build up to it.
Wow.
And some people sometimes can't ever build up to it. I mean, most of the airplanes, and I fly aerobatic helicopters and airplanes and World War II plane, and you really have to take time to build up to those Gs. Getting in there, it's quite intense.
Because, Felicity, oddly, you did the aeronauts, which would seem like such a lovely thing, floaty, floaty, floaty.
Not so
Yeah, what
many
was that
Gs.
like? What was
Yeah,
that?
few less
you
Gs.
did go,
balloon, what-
properly high, didn't you?
Did you go?
Yeah, they got really high up. There
Let's see
we
it.
are. Actually, that was a real sequence that we did. It's actually a gas air balloon, which is powered by sand, and that was for real. Look, I'm trying to compete with Tom now.
Yeah,
That's terrific.
I can now teach people how to hot air balloon.
Yeah, exactly. That was
Yes,
really high.
I know the guys
It
that
was really
shot
scary.
I know the guys that shot the aerial for you on that. They're very good.
Yeah, well, the helicopter was going
Yes.
round and round and
Yes.
kind of getting
We worked
closer
with
and
us on
closer, and we were
Fallout,
going
very
a little
nice.
bit nerve-wracking.
But also,
Ropes
but
and
how
helicopters.
high? I mean, was the air thin? How high you were? How high were you?
No, all of the thin air stuff we just did with acting. That was...
Yeah, Tom, they did acting.
What? What's that?
We
Gotta
would
try
just-
that sometime.
Yeah, well, you know, actually, it's
How was
it's
that?
not the
Did
best
you-
route. It's
did you
easier.
enjoy that?
Well, actually, we had to do this whole sequence where we were really high up, and we had. You know, as you get higher, obviously it gets colder, and then we were covered
Yes.
in icicles in our hair.
Yes.
And I just thought, I blame Tom Cruise for this. I wouldn't be doing this like him. We were actually...
Don't do that.
I know, we were shooting it when you were doing Mission Impossible.
And the thing that interests me about your job is you're not just kind of the star of the film. You're not just the actor. When you're on set, you know, you set the tone of, you know, the approach to the work, the dedication, all of that stuff. You do all of that. Did you learn how to be that sort of set leader, cast leader from some of the greats that you worked with, like Newman or
You know,
Hoffman and people?
I was always kind of just had a great work ethic. I think it's something that in my life you know, I've had jobs since I was a little kid, shoveling snow and newspapers, selling cards door to door, you know, because we had to make money. And I liked it. I liked having my own money and working. And so I always worked very hard. But definitely, I was fortunate to be able to work with, you know, great artists that were very generous with me, from film directors to actors, you know, Duvall, Hackman, Newman. But just to be able to watch them work on set, every day I was there. So I was very fortunate.
I heard you tell a story about Paul Newman teaching you something very specific on the Colour Money.
I remember we were doing Color Money, and I went actually from Top Gun to Color Money. And we were shooting Color Money in Chicago. But I don't know if you've been to... Do you ever do a show in Chicago?
A lot.
Okay.
In another life, believe it or not, I used to work for a pharmaceutical company, and the American Society of Immunology... The American Society of Immunology used to have their annual meeting in Chicago, and our company office used to be in Chicago, so I've been to Chicago about 15 times.
Well, you know how cold it is in
Listen,
Chicago.
A pharmaceutical meeting is not like making the colour. I am not going to talk
Okay,
it on
I
that,
understand.
but it's a cold, cold system.
I understand. But a young actor, though, you know, I was there, and I tried my wardrobe on in the summer. And I was like, I'm going to have a leather jacket and T-shirt, you know. And I'm going to have my hair blown back. It's guaranteed up to 90 miles an hour. And there I am in January, and I'm shooting this scene. And I remember in the script, it was like outside. I didn't think about it. Wardrobe was like, yeah, it looks great. And I am doing this scene, and I am I mean, I'm telling you, it's so cold, I can't even speak. And I'm in between takes, and he's in a car, and I'm running to this area. They're trying to thaw. And Newman's like, where's the kid? You know, where's the kid? It's like, I'm just trying to, he's like, where's the kid? So I have this scene where he's in the car, and I'm next to him. And I look in, I'm like, what? He had the warm coat. He had the heater in there, but it was an electric heater, okay? And he just loved the fact that he's driving this car, and he's got the electric heater, the warm coat, and I'm in the T-shirt, and he looked at me, he's like, T-shirt. He said, you tried your wardrobe on in the summer, didn't you? And I was like, yes, sir, I did. He's like,
Lesson learned.
Watch and learn. Kid. Watch and learn. I never forgot it. I literally never forgot. I was like, now I'm like, okay, where am I doing? It's like the time when you choose food to eat in a scene. And then I was working with Coppola, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to eat chocolate cake in this scene. You know, I could get away. We had bets going on with the other actors, and I thought, you know, because I have to do it in the scene. It's part of the character. I'm going to eat chocolate cake. We ended up shooting the scene for 3 days, and we did like 100 takes of me eating chocolate cake, and I had to keep eating it. I was like, it was like the first couple of takes, I was like, oh, this is so good. You know, I have to eat it.
Oh,
They're bringing the cake. I was so moist. It's the worst, isn't it? And then it was like, I was like, oh my gosh, this is like, did we get it? You know? Did we get this take? And Francis kept saying, let's do it again. 3 days where I was like 100. I was in sugar shock. I was vomiting. So, chocolate cake and Paul Newman, the weather.
Lessons learned.
Lessons learned.
All right, let's pause to meet our first virtual guest tonight. This BAFTA-winning Brit has starred in Luther and Lovecraft Country and can now be seen in Netflix horror His House. It's Wunmi Mosaku! Hello! Hey!
Hi.
Hi. Meet everybody. Felicity Jones, John Bishop, Tom Cruise is here.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
We're very well. Where are you, my dear?
I'm in LA. I live here now.
Oh, wow.
Still a newbie. I still don't know it that well.
Because you get quite frightened in LA quite often.
I mean, I had an earthquake. I had 2 earthquakes on Monday. I have had 4 earthquakes in and all in the last year, and it's been the shock of my life. I did not expect that. I just wasn't expecting it to be so dramatic, and I jump out of bed like terrified.
Well, your books are beautifully arranged. They obviously have.
I was thinking that. I was like, they must have come off.
They do. They have. Yeah, but nothing's broken, thankfully. TV's still intact.
Aces high. Talking of TV, I first saw you in Lovecraft Country. You are so good in that series. I mean, that series is great anyway. You are brilliant in it.
Thank you.
But as good as you are in it, so there's a lot of gore in that series, and you're not a fan. What is it about the gore you don't like?
Oh, I don't like being scared for scared's sake. Like, I don't get it. I'm not an adrenaline junkie. It doesn't appeal to me. I don't know why I find myself in them. But it's just not my cup of tea. I like a love story and a musical.
But listen, for somebody who doesn't like scary films, your new film is properly horrifying. His House is streaming on Netflix now. So tell us about the film, Wunmi.
Yeah, I say I don't like horror, but I guess what I love about these 2 shows, specifically Lovecraft and His House, is that they have like it's about humanity. It's about the horrors of humanity, and I guess that's the thing that I think is the most amazing thing about His House specifically. It's like it's these 2 asylum seekers who come to the UK, and it looks like a haunted house film, but it really is about like what they're haunted by, the horrors that they've experienced, and this house holds all of their, all of their nightmares of their experience and all of their trauma.
Well, we've got a clip. This is a taste of the spooky goings-on in His House.
This entire house is just for us.
It's gonna be nice. You're gonna be happy. You having problems with the property?
Seriously, it's really good. You guys haven't seen it, you should definitely see it. And congratulations, Wunmi, because Bafta-nominated. Sunday night, you're up for a Bafta.
Thank you. Can't believe it.
Do you get to go to the Royal Albert Hall, or is it this?
It's this.
Okay.
And I don't mind it. I'm not a fan of heels, so it's great that I can just be like glammed up from here up and like, you know, in my slippers. I love it.
Yeah. And Felicity, are you one of those people, do you like being scared by a film?
I'm not very good being scared by film, but this sounds like it's quite psychological.
No, it's also scary, I'll tell you that. You don't like being scared by film?
No.
I don't know.
I don't. I like the look of that, and I want to get drawn into it. And as you say, it's psychological, you don't mind that. But I don't understand. It's like people who eat hot curry or get scared by films. I think, why do something that you don't like, that's not nice for you? You know what I mean?
There's nothing wrong with a hot curry.
You see? But Tom Cruise, as we've seen, you are fearless. Can a film scare you? Or do you just kind of go, oh, it's a film?
No, I get very invested in movies.
Do you?
So I really commit to a story.
Yeah.
It depends, you know, like anything. You want to like a good story.
But Interview with the Vampire, that's the closest to a horror you've ever done, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And is it true that Oprah, not a fan?
Yeah, I was driving. She hadn't seen the movie. And I was driving, and she called me. She's a good friend of mine. She called me. She said, Tom, I said, Oprah, I said, you know, the movie wasn't over. She goes, I know. I'm standing in the lobby right now with a bunch of women, and we are praying for you. I said, really? I said, what? She goes, this is not, I don't like this movie, Tom. It was scary, and we were there. It was like, and I said, I got it. Well, that's all right. Let's have some fun. We'll talk about it, because, you know, some people liked the movie and some didn't, so it was a really fun show, actually.
Wow. And Wunmi, we must just quickly say, next time we see you, we'll be in the world of Marvel.
Yes, I'll be in Loki.
Oh, fantastic.
Do you know what episode you show up in? Who do you play? All that sort of stuff?
Oh, I show up at the beginning, and I don't think I can tell you who I play.
Not even who you play?
No, I don't think so. You know what it's like with Marvel. You know what it's like.
You can't talk about anything.
I'm terrified. I'm terrified.
Those Marvel lawyers, they're just at a shot.
Yes, they are. You hear the phone ringing.
Listen, we're looking forward to Loki of Marvel, and His House is streaming now on Netflix. Good luck with that. Good luck on Sunday night. Wunmi Mosaku, everybody.
Thank you, Wunmi. Good luck.
Thank you.
Bye, Wunmi.
She's so lovely.
Lovely.
Now, Wunmi not being able to say anything about Marvel, John Bishop, presumably that sounds familiar, because you've now joined the world of Doctor Who.
I have. That's
Can you tell us?
My lockdown experience, yeah.
Yeah. We've only seen your face.
Yeah.
At the end of the New Year's episode.
Yeah, it's saying, so I'm the new companion to the Doctor.
You're allowed to say that?
Yeah, I'm allowed to say that,
Okay,
but
good.
that's about it. I did a thing for some drama students in Liverpool, you know, a big Zoom thing, and it was a Q&A, and it was just talking about acting and how you get into it, and how you get into stand-up comedy. And then one of the questions was, can you tell us anything about your character in Doctor Who? You know, where does he come from? I went, well, where do you think he comes from? You have a guess. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not Tom Cruise. I can act as long as the character happens to look and sound a lot like me. So it just meant that the character was from Liverpool, which then, somewhere on a Doctor Who website, someone picked it up. There's a new character. He's from Liverpool. The story's based in Liverpool. That becomes so... Then the BBC phoned me up and said, you've broke the cardinal sin. You've told them something about Doctor Who. And I went, I haven't told them anything. Anybody who looks at me knows he's from Liverpool. Let's be honest. I give away.
But something you can tell us about is that you are going on tour. Yes, it kicks off the 31st of August.
There you go, man. Come on, John.
It ends on the 8th of April at the O2 in London. So this is a proper big arena tour.
Yeah, this was the tour that I was doing when lockdown happened.
Yeah.
I was doing it, and then they just said, you know, everything's got to end. And so we picked up the dates, and we were going to move them. We ended up moving them to next September because it fitted in with Doctor Who, but also to try and allow time to people to be allowed back in.
And this must be amazing to come back, to think of going back to this tour, because is this it must be the longest you've been away from an audience since you started stand-up?
Absolutely, yeah, it is. And that's the big thing about it in terms of, you know, I'm very lucky to be doing Doctor Who, very lucky to be doing anything, any of us. But for live events, that part of the industry's really suffered.
Yeah.
But not only the industry, the people, because we miss people. You know, we're desperate just to be in the same place as other people. And that's one of the things on the tour as well. I'm getting behind this campaign called Give It a Go.
Oh, yes. Yeah, tell us about it.
Which is it's a campaign of a friend of mine from New York, Joe Diamede, and he noticed nobody makes eye contact anymore. If you go into a cafe or you're at a bus stop, everyone's looking at the phone. Yeah. So we got a little community together saying, wear a badge saying, give it a go, which means give it a go, just say hello to me. So I've thought, well, for my tour, I'm going to get behind that. We're going to have people with badges, because I've done 2 lockdown gigs on Zoom, and I was amazed at how many people were watching on their own. And I thought those people want to go to gigs but won't go to gigs because they're on their own.
Yeah.
Whereas if they can go to a warm environment, you're in the same building with people who've got something in common because you're all there, and you can talk to a stranger because they're advertising the fact they've broken the ice by wearing a badge. It's like your film. People can wait, or they can go to a cinema. When they go to a cinema, wouldn't it be nice in the interval or beforehand to not feel inhibited, just to say hello to somebody?
Yeah, and also there's good get out of jail, you know, because the interval ends or the movie starts.
Yeah. So it's not weird. It's not like give it a go.
This funny thing ends, you just want to go up and just start hugging people.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you just want to be like, don't take this personally.
Don't take this personally. And also, this is not just for people who are on their own. I mean, at the end of the day, I've been in lockdown with my wife as well. I am desperate for a conversation with anybody.
Oh, I wonder what you're going to say there.
We're all desperate.
So it's a conversation. Oh, yeah.
He talks to me about something that doesn't end up with me being criticised.
So arenas reopening, and I mean, and Tom, seriously, you know, you have played a big part in all of this, because Mission Impossible, that was the first, you know, production of that size to get back on its feet. How long were you shut down for?
I don't know. I mean, we were shut down for a few months, but actually the moment it happened, I was working around the clock because we were finishing post on Top Gun, so we had editing, we had to figure out musicians, and at that time people were like, that's never going to happen, you're not going to finish it. So yeah, we just, you know, it was great. We worked with a lot of people to just get people back to work, and worked with governments and writing the laws and doctors, and you know, we were figuring it out. It was when everything, like, how are we going to do this, how are we going to keep people safe, and kind of work with them to get through it. You know, and I felt obviously very responsible in ensuring everyone's safety throughout, and you know, all of us were still learning. You know, what is this? How can we do this? How are we going to progress forward? As you guys did. I mean, look, you came back and you were nonstop. I really admire what you've done and appreciate it.
Well, it's just you kind of bounce, you know, we've all done it. You know, that thing where kind of, oh, you can have a little bit of audience, oh, now there's no audience, you know, but
I know,
hopefully we're getting back there. We're getting back there.
Absolutely.
And you have to believe, you know, like, you know, we're going on tour, other people are coming on the show saying you're going on tour. You have to book the date, you have to aim for something.
Yes. It's going to be the Roaring 20s, you know that, when this is over.
Oh.
It is going to be the Roaring 20s.
I'm exhausted already.
I know. we're going to be like, there's going to be this, it's just going to be so energized. I mean, as I said, this is the first time I've been outside of my film bubble, guys, and I was just so excited. You know, I went by, I was like, hey, how Felicity, how are you, John? How are you? Like, oh, hey, Graham. You know, it's like, it does feel like this is humanity, and we're going to get there. We are absolutely going to get through this.
Well, just to tease people about one of the treats they can have, there's a stunt, and I'm sure there's lots of stunts in Mission Impossible 7, but there's a stunt you do, and I'm sure you can't tell us anything about it, but this is, so it involves this ramp. Now, this is in Norway, right?
This is in Norway.
OK. Now, there's a man on the ramp, but can you tell us what you do in the ramp, or is that a secret?
Yeah, I ride a motorcycle off that ramp.
He's not lying.
Bloody hell.
So wait, though, wait. So you're looking at that. So you gave us this. This is a tiny little bit of footage just to give you an idea of where he rides the motorbike. OK, so this is you and the director. I think you're on it. Okay, so he comes up
that's
that
the cue.
ramp, and that's where you go. That's where he drives it.
That makes Evil Knievel look like a bit of a wuss. That is...
Wow.
And in the thing,
That was-
so we see it, it is amazing. But what made me laugh when I was looking at this, I was thinking, people live here in the middle of nowhere in Norway. It was like, what is that noise? How many days were you there for?
In Norway from over a month, 5 weeks. They were amazing. Like every day they were there at the bottom. You know, when we were shooting, I did this particular one 8 times. I did it 6 in one day and 2 the other day. And we spent a good year prepping this thing and figuring. I've wanted to do it since I was a little kid.
I mean, you love doing this stuff.
Yeah, the first time I did it was pretty nerve-wracking, though. We didn't know what was going to happen. I mean, no matter how much you train or what you do, there's so many things that could have, you know, that were challenging. But it is exhilarating attempting to do it, and, you know, yeah, it was exhilarating.
Because don't directors have to remind you, stop smiling when you're doing this
That's
stuff?
cute. Yeah, Chris McCory, he's like, where I was flying the helicopter in Fallout, and we were doing aerobatics, and he was like, Tom, I was like, what? He used it right in the middle. He says, you're smiling. You're smiling. Stop smiling in the take. It's like, oh yeah, thank you.
You're supposed to be saving
Yeah,
the
it's
world.
supposed to be, yes, exactly.
Well, talking of audiences obviously returning to the arenas for stand-up, but cinemas are set to reopen, and Felicity's new movie will be in them. It's called Last Letter from Your Lover, and it's going to be opening in cinemas in July. So, Felicity, tell us all about it.
I know, it's you know, like Top Gun, it's so good to get back to the cinema, as you were saying. It's one of those things I think we've all missed the most. But that was on Richmond Bridge, walking along, looking lovingly into each other's eyes. It is The Last Letter from Your Lover, and it is based on a book by Jojo Moyes. And I play a character who is having a bit of a tough time. She's in a phase of her life where things haven't been going that well. I sort of played her like she's always got a permanent hangover. So she's drinking too much. She's lost a bit of hope, a bit like living in COVID times. She's sort of lost a bit of perspective. And she discovers these old letters, these old love letters. And the story pivots from her modern day story, trying to meet someone, trying to find out what the meaning of her life is, to then understanding and exploring this love story in the past, in the 1960s, played by the brilliant Shailene Woodley and Callum Turner. And it... oh, look, there we are.
Oh, there you are. Because you're producers on this, you and Shailene.
We are, yes. It's what Tom was saying earlier. It's that thing, you sort of get to a point where it's so nice to be involved as early on as possible, to be involved in the development of the script and just have a little bit more input, rather than, you know, traditionally as an actor you sort of come in at the end. And I thought, actually, I'll have a really fun time making this, which we did.
It does look like Shailene maybe had a more fun time, because you're in scenes like this, and here's Shailene Woodley having a very different time.
Were you there on set when they were shooting that, so you got to be on the boat while they were shooting?
Yeah, totally. We were on the boat the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. So she was having a good
we
time.
were just like peeking.
Were you really there?
No, absolutely not. No, the furthest we got to East London, I think, was the furthest that we got to. Yeah.
And it's lovely on a nice day. Lovely.
I used to live there. Yeah.
I got to help you, producer. Like, look at the locations.
I know. I should be making
start producing and
decisions based on the glamour of the location, not literally half an hour down the road.
You know.
Yeah. Live and learn.
I learned about the T-shirt and leather jacket in the winter. I'm going to tell you about locations, okay?
Yeah, Venice, Rome.
Yes.
We've got a clip. This is your character waking up in bed with a one-night stand played by Jacob Fortune Lloyd. Here you go.
I actually have to sort of start getting ready for work, so I might have to ask you to,
this is actually my flat.
Oh, shit. Well, in that case, at ease, monsieur. No problemo.
Love to see you again. As in, I had a really great time last night.
Well, the thing is, Rob, I'm just...
My name's not Rob. Andrew.
Andrew. I just sort of came out of quite a straight up soul-destroying. So, thank you.
I'm just saying I could give you my number.
Or you could not. And we could avoid the whole, you know, me feeling guilty, never calling you back, you feeling dejected, never hearing from me again.
I feel so used.
Well, you know what, Rob? Welcome to my world.
Name's not Rob.
Andrew.
Happens all the time.
No, it's very, very good. And it'll be in cinemas in July.
In July.
In July. Very good. Right, our final virtual guests tonight are here. They're Tom's co-stars in Top Gun Maverick. It is the star of Whiplash, Miles Teller, and Oscar winner Jennifer Connelly.
Come on, guys.
Hey, Jen! Miles!
Guys.
Hey, Tom.
I miss you guys.
We miss you.
Love you,
Wish
man.
you were there.
I know, my gosh, I wish you guys were here.
Where are you? Jennifer Connelly, where are you?
I'm at home in Brooklyn, New York.
And Miles?
Nice house.
It does look nice.
I know,
Thanks.
it's lovely.
I'm in Los Angeles. I'm also at home.
Oh, okay. Also a lovely house. Beautiful.
Nice.
Look at the lighting.
COVID's over, I got to come over to both y'all's houses, have some dinner.
You're welcome.
Come
Anytime.
over, Tom.
Thank you.
So tell me this. So Jennifer Connelly, acting with Tom Cruise, a dream or was there kind of added pressure? How was it?
Both, actually. I mean, it was extraordinary. It was such a privilege. I had such a great time. I did things that I've never done before.
And who do you play in the movie, Jennifer?
I play Penny Benjamin. And an old friend of Maverick, there she is.
Wow.
On her very cool car.
Wow.
And Miles tells you the character you play is kind of the big connection to the first movie.
Yeah, so I play Goose's kid, and
Are we allowed to say that?
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe
I think
not.
we are.
Yeah, you are.
I don't
yeah.
know. Yes, you
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
It's out now.
Yeah, it's out now.
yeah. So that's a joke, right?
Miles's eyes.
That's out.
It's like, oh.
That's out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I play his kid, and obviously there's some history there with Maverick. So I think it's really wonderful, you know. And Tom, I had such a pleasure working with him and everybody in the cast, and the film's phenomenal.
Not to depress anyone, but Miles wasn't born when the first Top Gun came out. So had you seen the first Top Gun?
Yeah, absolutely. And I told Tom he's been waiting my entire life to work with me, literally.
Listen, we've got a clip. This is a taste of what to look forward to in Top Gun Maverick.
Good morning, aviators. This is your captain speaking. Today's exercise is dogfighting.
2 versus 1? Hey, he's got to be kidding.
You have the photo of her flying in the P-51 with me.
Yes.
She showed up.
Unbelievable. You know what? I was afraid to tell Tom at the time was I had just recently come out of sort of like decided to think myself out of a really crippling fear of flying that I suffered from for years. And so originally when I signed on to do the movie, there was no flying for my character. My character was on land, she was on the water, she was never in the air. There was a scene at one point where it's like taxiing on a runway, maybe in a plane together. So Tom and I are shooting that scene. And the plane, the P-51, it's like tiny. You're like, the top of the cockpit is right here. My knees are up against his back. And he's like, wow, Jen, have you ever been in a plane like this before? I was like, no, I haven't, Tom. It's amazing. He's like, ever done any aerobatic flying before? I was like, starting to get nervous. No. why? Will I be doing some? He's like, it's gonna be very graceful, very elegant, just some very elegant rolls, you know, it's gonna be nice and easy. So yeah, that's how I found out that I was gonna be up in the P-51 with Tom flying it.
And Miles, tell me this, when you signed up for this, did you know that there wouldn't be green screen? Did you know that this was all gonna be proper G-force and real?
Yeah,
Yes.
I think that was in the small print.
For hours,
I think that was
Miles.
in the small print, in the fine print somewhere. In the fine print somewhere. No, I mean, I did absolutely, but I absolutely underestimated the training that it would take to be able to withstand, you know, the G forces that we're, you know, pulling. You know, people were throwing up, you know, in the cockpit fairly often. Like it is no joke to get in those jets, and we're making Top Gun, you know, so we're never going around sightseeing.
It's very intense. Like what Miles said, I told you. I said, and I shot the early test. I showed you the early test.
You might have whispered it to yourself.
How many times did I say it?
Never said it out loud to me, Tom.
I told you. I said, and I even shot first, and I showed you the footage.
Show me the email.
It's been great to talk to you. Tell me this. So we're going to have to wait to see Top Gun Maverick in cinemas. Have you guys seen it yet?
Yes.
Yes.
I saw it in a theater, and it was such a joy to be back in a movie theater. I was on a huge screen with an incredible projection, and I actually saw it with my husband and two of our kids. And literally both my son and my daughter were sitting on the edge of their seats the entire time. Agnes, my daughter, was like bouncing up and down the entire time. It's amazing.
And Miles, did you get the big screen experience?
I watched it on an iPhone.
You son of a bitch,
one of the new iPhones, like
you
the really big
Miles.
iPhones.
Miles,
It was incredible.
I'm gonna crush you. Wait till I'm gonna crush you, okay?
You'll never find me, Tom.
Wait till I'm gonna
You'll
come.
never
I'm
find
gonna
me.
look. I'm gonna
You'll
have.
never
I'm
find
calling
me.
your wife, and she's gonna help me. Tell Kelly she's gonna help me, okay?
Oh no.
That's not true.
No.
Well, listen, we all look forward to seeing you all on the big screen. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Miles Teller, Jennifer Connelly, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Wish we could be there.
Great seeing you.
Right, it's time for music. Here performing their latest single, Starstruck. Please welcome Years and Years.
I feel like all these people in this room don't shine like you. If I could bottle you up, I would sip you like cosmic juice. So give me that good love, good love. I don't need your cash, I got my own to spend on you. And if you wanna dance, baby, let's dance. We could dream till the sunrise. I can't help it, I get starstruck around you. What can I do, baby? I can't help it, I get starstruck around you. What can I do? There ain't no reason why I can't speak, then go start staring at your glow. I wanna tell you everything that's on my mind, baby, even if I choke. Ooh, yeah. So give me that good love, good love. I don't need your cash, I got my own to spend it on you. If I like, if you wanna dance, baby, let's dance. We can dream till the sunrise. Ooh. I can't help it, I get starstruck around you. What can I do, baby? I can't help it, I get starstruck around you. What can I do when I got my hands on you? I'm not giving you up, I'm not giving you up.
thank you very much to the backing vocalists. There they go. Sir, there's a chair waiting for you and a glass of fizz. Hello, congratulations. Hello. Hey.
Hi, lovely to meet you.
This is Olly, John, Felicity, Tom, so eagle-eyed viewers will have noticed backing vocalists, but just Olly. Is Years and Years now just Olly?
It is.
Okay.
You know, there was nothing bad. Like,
so it's all amicable?
Yeah, we all decided to kind of just, like, go our separate ways.
And might they be producing music as well?
They're doing their own thing, like, separate from Years and Years.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, losers.
No.
There's a Years and Years tribute band called Days and Days.
So that's the single. That is out now, and that is a great track. That is
Thank you so much.
It written all over it. But there is an album coming, right?
There will be an album some point this year, yes.
I sound like your teacher, kind of. Where's your album? Have you done your album? Have you started on your album yet?
Yes, Graham. I've made a lot of songs.
Okay, very good. Well, tidy them up, and you can hand them in later in the year. Very good. And we've got to say, because I haven't seen you since, just to say congratulations to your face on It's a Sin.
Oh, fantastic.
On Channel 4.
Oh, thank you.
But no, it's something crazy, you know, because it's not on Netflix. It's on Channel 4, and it's been streamed, what, 20 million times or something crazy?
Yeah.
I mean, you must be delighted.
I'm just so blown away because I was on the show right before it came out, talking about it, and you just have no idea, obviously, like, how an audience is going to respond to something like that, because it's such a sensitive topic, but the show, I love doing it so much. I'm just so overwhelmed and blown away by the response from people and the conversations it started, you know?
It is the single best thing I've seen this year.
Thank you.
I loved it.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Have you done acting before? Did you grow up and train and study, or was it
I actually played Felicity's alcoholic cousin, maybe?
Yeah, in Cheerful. I was going to say alcoholic nephew, but no. Was it nephew?
So I did some acting kind of before I was doing with the band, before the music took off, but I took a break, so I went back to it for this show, It's a Sin, and it was just the best experience.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks, Tom.
Well, listen, thank you for that great performance. Good luck with the single and the album when it happens. Olly, Years and Years, everyone. Yeah. Listen, that is all we've got time for. No time for red chairs tonight, I'm afraid. Please say a huge thank you to all of my guests. Years and Years! Wunmi Mosaku! John Bishop! Felicity Jones! Miles Teller! Jennifer Connelly! And Mr. Tom Cruise! That, I hate to tell you, is that for this series. But do join me over the next 2 weeks when we take a look back at some of the highlights of the past series. We'll be back in the autumn. Till then, have a fantastic summer. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye!